know that literally. Disney is a rat. But would they really be such a rat as to copy one of their own best series with their project Hexet? I'm talking about the Owl House. And as you may know, Dana Terrace, its creator, told Disney to get lost, and that's where this goldmine ended. So let's look at all the things that show us how Disney is groveling for a bit of good cheese and basically wants to copy. The Owl House is a surprise tool that will help us later, since Disney just announced a new movie, supposedly very original, for next year under the name Hexet, which will premiere in November 2026. In case something goes wrong for us. But many theories began to emerge as soon as it was announced, mainly about whether this new movie could be based on the Owl House, and that's because of some details that remind us a lot of the series. During the presentation of Hexet, it was revealed that the story revolves around a boy who, along with his mother, arrives in a world where magic is real. The interesting part is that this boy, seen as a weirdo in the real world, learns his oddness comes from magic in his veins, in a Disney-like fantastical way. This idea has been exciting all the loyal fans of the Owl House, who noticed very strong similarities with the story. And in fact, some even dared to say that this is the return of the Owl House, but well, it's more than just a return of the series. If you think about it, it's more like a cheap copy, even if it's not an exact replica. We can't help but notice the things they have in common, if nothing else. Just by seeing the first images, we notice the animation style is also similar. Besides, the story basically follows the same principles: a weird teenager who does magic and tries to fit in. And the big difference they added to make it seem like a really original idea. The original thing was that in the movie Hexet, the weird kid doesn't start learning magic from scratch. Just like Luz Noceda, who had to work hard to pull off some rituals in the Owl House. The background of the story is still the same, and honestly, Disney was really stingy with their so-called differences, since they also changed it. That this magic isn't because you're really creative like in the Owl House, but rather the kid will already be a magic prodigy. And obviously, this is because he's different. And let's pay attention to the following, because in both series, the person present in the protagonist's lives is the mom. It's been speculated that the kind of mother the protagonist of Hexet will have is a somewhat controlling mom, the kind who gets stressed if there's no order. That's pretty common to see in Disney movies. Unlike Luz Noceda's mother in the Owl House, who isn't like that. She's a loving and protective mother. She cares about her daughter and doesn't fit the type of mother we'll see in Hexet. So once again, Disney just flipped the script so that it's the opposite of what we saw in the Owl House. And from what we could see in the Hexet presentation, we noticed the great similarity between the buildings in Owl House and the designs seen in the first images. What does change a lot are the character designs, giving us a more traditional Disney style. In the image, you can also see a smiling cat, which really reminds us of the one from Alice in Wonderland. Owl House has connections with two other series, which are Amphibia and Gravity Falls, with references between them, but Owl House is the black sheep of the family, at least for Disney, because a sequel is something that doesn't seem likely in the future. But what about a cheap knockoff? Since, if we remember several of the writers who work with the Cowboy Mouse, they ended up independently at Glitch, starting new projects, including the creator of the Owl House series. It's normal for many creators and writers to want to step away from their projects to move on to a new one and not get stuck like that. For example, Dana Terrace, the creator of the Owl House, wanted to move on to start other projects, and that's how Glitch was born. Now she's even working on another new series, which is Knights of Guinevere. Also, it's hard for current series to last. If they're lucky, they might get 2 or 3 seasons, and that's if they're really lucky before someone decides to cancel them. Also, you have to consider that the Owl House was a series that broke the mold within Disney. Its diverse storytelling, complex characters, and lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer representation made it a reference point for many young people who didn't see themselves reflected in other series. That's why it was also seen as a gamble for Disney, and we already know that if Disney doesn't like something, they take it out of the game. So the Owl House, with all its lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender characters, was no longer as profitable. Hexed, from what has been shown, seems to return to that safe formula: male protagonist, controlling mother, natural powers, like the opposite of the Owl House, but keeping the successful formula of the series. Another important point is that the Owl House didn't just connect because of its story, but because of its community. Fans created theories, art, music, and even campaigns so that the series would have a worthy ending. Hexed, on the other hand, doesn't have that support yet. Could it get it? It seems more like a production that takes a lot of inspiration from the main characters of the Owl House and even the story. So, even though in Hexed they wanted to highlight those differences, with the Owl House it seems to be the same. As always, Disney recycling ideas and forcing them to work again. Better. I would have said it was a remake of the Owl House, but reversed. And that's it. Because, to be honest, tell me, so far, out of all the projects Disney has had, which one is it? Who are the ones that have given them real success? None, buddy. So, is Hexed a cheap copy of the Owl House? In conclusion, if we look at it from the story side, the main idea and the narrative, yes, it is a copy, because it recycles the same central idea. A strange youth discovers hidden powers, enters a secret magical world, and navigates the clash between extraordinary and ordinary life, repeating the narrative and essence of the story that was already told to us in the series. And if we think about it deeply, the most unsettling thing is not just that Disney is recycling ideas, but that they're doing it in such a blatant way, trusting that the younger audience won't notice the similarities with the Owl House. But the fans of the series aren't naive. They followed every detail, every nod, and every clue that Dana Terrace and her team left. And now they recognize it immediately. When something smells like a cheap knockoff, definitely. More than asking ourselves if Hexed is or isn't a cheap knockoff. Maybe the real question is, why does Disney prefer to recycle what already worked instead of taking a risk to create something that truly leaves a mark on new generations? That's the thought that lingers in the air. But anyway, all that's left is to wait and see the movie and make a deep comparison, unless they cancel it for some strange reason. So don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments about what you think of this new super original Disney movie. Do you think it's really a blatant copy? We'll read your comments.